Today's notes are on long division. Long division is a way to show your steps for dividing numbers in decimal form. It finds the quotient one digit at a time from left to right. Long division is pretty much the same as regular division. The only thing is your dividend is usually a larger number that you're dividing into. So that means you have more steps in your division process. The steps for long division are you divide, then you multiply, you subtract, and then you bring down the next digit, and then you repeat, or you will have a remainder. And then we check our work through multiplication. Let's look at our example. So we have 112,800 because it says Nora drove 112,800 miles last year for her job. She drove the same number of miles each week. She worked 48 weeks last year. How many miles did Nora drive each week? So we're going to divide this by 48 because this is going to tell us how many miles she drove each week. Alright, so when we're dividing, we look at how many times 48 can go into 112. Because we know 48 can't go into 1, so there'll be no number here. We know 48 can't go into 11, so there'll be no number here. So our answer would start, or our quotient would begin over the 2 because we're dividing into 112. So we see 48, and we ask ourselves, how many times does 48 divide into 112 without going over? All right, and if we don't know, we can just go off to the side and we can multiply. 48 times 2 gives us 96. Okay, 48 times 3 gives us 144. So we know 144 is too big, so we're going to go with 48 divided by 2, or times 2. So 48 times 2 gives us 96, and then we subtract, which is our next step. Okay, so we multiply, then we subtract, and we're left with 16. Our next step is to bring down our next number, which is an 8, because 48 cannot go into 16, so we bring down our 8, which gives us 168 that we're dividing into. So we put our next digit right over the 8 because that's where we're dividing, 168. So 48 goes into 168. We see that 48 times 3 is 144. Let's check 48 times 5 times 4 and see what we get. So we get 192. So we know we'll go with 48 divided by 48 times 3, which is 144. Our next step is to subtract. So we just subtract and we get 24. Our next step is to bring down our 0. So we're repeating. Okay, we're going to repeat until we use all our digits. Alright, 48 goes into 240. So we said 48 times 4. So let's check 48 times 5. Alright, and that gives us 240. So our 5 goes right above this 0, and that gives us 240. And we're left with 0, but we still have another 0 to bring down. Okay, and 48 goes into 0 times. So our answer is 2,350, which means Nora drives 2,350 miles each week.